Thank you for tuning in to this week's Tech Tip. Today, I am going to show you how to use Insert Learning. Insert Learning is a great way to take a web page you want students to review and make it more your own so that it's a whole encompassing type of lesson for your students. So, once you download Insert Learning as an extension into your extension bar, then you're able to use it. Just like with any other extension, I recommend you connect your Google account. This way you don't have to remember a username or password. It is a free thing extension to use. So once you have it attached to your Google account, what you will do is you will see this page that is in front of you. On this page, there are some pre-made lessons, but you can also go to any web page that you'd like and that you were going to have students look at anyway and develop your own lesson around it. So I've already created one here based on this lesson here that someone else created because I want to kind of show you some of the places that you can add on your web page. So once you get here, you can create different sections, your pre-reading section, your reading selection piece. You can add some questions. You can add two types of questions, either regular questions or you can make it multiple choice questions. And then what you can do is you have all this information that will come back to you. Okay, so the way to create information that you want students to look at is you start by adding a sticky note. Oops, and I need to copy the lesson. Actually, I am going right back here because I've already copied this lesson. And you need to copy the lessons that are created if you decide to use that to make them your own. But as you're doing this, if you want to add a sticky note, you would click on this. Whoops, and I thought I had done that. Apparently I had not. Okay, so now I can copy the lesson. I can add a sticky note. And here is my sticky note. So I can type in whatever information I want to add, or like this person did here, she gave information and she also included a video that she wants the students to look at. Another thing that you can do here is you can actually edit the page. So this here was done through the pencil. She added some extra titles so that the students know where they're going. Another thing you can do is add questions. So when you click here, that will add a question box. And so you get to ask a question like this, and you know it's a question box because there's your little question mark, and you can write in a question, and then the students have to create the answer. And another thing that's great here is you can add and insert a discussion, and this would be a discussion. And when the students type an answer, because this will go to all of the students in the class, and some student like Paula Johnson says, I don't know, and you don't want the rest of the class to see that because you are monitoring it, you can click that and then the students won't see that particular response. You still know it's there, you still have that answer, but the students don't need to see it in that case. So those are some things that you can do. Once you've created the lesson, you can click here and you can assign it. And when you assign it, you can assign it straight to your Google Classroom. Not a problem. You can share it with another teacher. You can edit the title, or you can see it in your dashboard. So your dashboard is this thing here. This is where all of your lessons go. And let's say I want to look at what my students are doing. I can filter by my class, or if you are uploading your assignment through Google Classroom, your Google Classroom will come in through here. You can select the lesson, and I only have the one lesson I done. I can filter by question. So if I say all questions, then I will get all of the questions. And if I say all of the students, let's do all classes so that I can select a lesson. And then see here, then you get all the questions. And if I would have answers in here from students, I would get all of their answers as well. So then I could score it here, look at it here, and have another way to formatively assess whether or not my students are reading and looking at that information that I have added on that web page. What else is kind of another way to add students to this class is by giving them a class code and having them go to this site itself. Another thing that you can do is there are some text sources here that give you information so that you don't necessarily have to go out and go, "Ooh, which website am I going to use?" Here's some sources for you already that you can use as they pertain to your content area. Another thing that you can do here under sources is you can look for tools to embed. So if you're looking for certain things, or you want students in your math class to create a graph, or even in a science class, all kinds of things that you can add here that are sources. And then they give you some other examples too on how to use your lessons or create lessons. So this is a great resource for a flipped classroom. Now there are only 5 free lessons that they allow. So there's 2 ways to get around that. One is you can create a lesson and keep those 5 and say these are the best 5 lessons I've ever created, and use those for units that you may use over reoccurring years. Or another thing that you can do is you can delete a lesson that you've created, and every time you delete a lesson, it will give you the up to 5 free that you get back. So of course, at that point, you'll either want to turn your information from your assignment or your questions into a another document, which you can do through this as well, or else you'll need to, take your data and record it somewhere so that, because once it's gone, it's gone. And you are also able to invite colleagues to your class. So if you're co-teaching, or if you're in a content area group and you're all going to teach the same lesson, well, then share that. You can either share it directly, or you can invite colleagues and you can all collaborate at the same time on your lesson. So this is a great little resource. It's called Insert Learning. And I thank you for tuning in to this week's Tech Tip.